All right, everyone to your places.
We're ready in here, sir.
How are we in the studio?
Stand by, sir. Hit the lights.
Yes, sir. Striking.
Quiet on the set, please. We're on in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Arlington Weekly News. I'm Craig Nolan. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, I'm Daniel Pineda.
My name's Adele Quo. Where's the Spanish?
AK.
Or AK now is
Here
my
we go with
name.
another show, our first day of spring show for 2017. Hard to believe, rolling right along here. The windy month of March is upon us, and our usual lineup of stuff here tonight, our news and community bulletin board segments. Adele Quo is here with
It's easy being green.
Indeed it is. Our CBB file, as I mentioned, a weather segment.
Oh, wow.
Stay tuned for the weather segment. Denise is here with a roll-in, our news for seniors, and our own Miriam Gennari in another installment of her Sustainable Scoop. And then some special stuff at the end, and that's our show. But before we begin, a social media reminder from my partner.
That's right, Craig. You can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News and the number 1. Also, facebook.com/Arlington Weekly News. Craig, on to the news.
All right, gracias, Senor Pineda. Here we go with the first of our news items. Well, a man who committed a murder 18 years ago was recently captured and just sentenced to almost a half a century in prison. Ludwin Estrada strangled his friend, this person, Eva Valise, on May 11th, 1999. Ludwin would have been about 23 years of age at the time. Police recovered the body in a car parked in North Pierce Street. However, Estrada managed to escape to Guatemala. He was located, however, in September of 2016 and then extradited back to the States. In Arlington County Circuit Court judge, they sentenced Estrada to 41 to 45 years in prison. That happened on March 17th. Daniel.
Well, Craig, Clarendon Circle is experiencing a rebirth of sorts with designs in progress to make it safer and more accessible for pedestrians, cyclists, and motorists. The updates will include better traffic signs and other traffic flow enhancements, improved lighting, and more vegetation to help reduce stormwater and water pollution. Construction won't begin until the summer of next year, but you can track the progress online now at projects.arlingtonva.us/project/Clarendon-circle.
All right, Daniel, some information now on college scholarships. Well, the Arlington County Sheriff's Office and the State Sheriff's Institute plan to have scholarship funds available to attend a Virginia-based college or university in law enforcement or criminal justice. You can just visit vasherifinstitute.org/scholarship to apply. Applications need to be mailed by April 17 to Sheriff Major Susie Doyle's office, and that's located at 1425 North Courthouse Road, Suite 9100, here in Arlington, 22201. Daniel.
And Craig, the library is showcasing an exhibit to help us understand the plight of people enduring the hardship of World War II by showcasing photographs, documents, and other artifacts linked to the situation in the Baltic at the time. The Baltic countries include Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Library Director Diane Kresh believes that the lessons of the past have, quote, incisive lessons for the current refugee crisis. Go to the website displacedpersons.org or library.arlingtonva.us to learn more information.
And Daniel, some county board news now. On March 18th, the county board voted to have a new hearing on the banning of exotic pets coming up in June. Virginia State doesn't explicitly prevent owning exotic pets, and neither do the county's codes, with the exception of poisonous reptiles and members of the porcine or pig family. The Animal Welfare League of Arlington and the Humane Society of the U.S. Agree with the ban so far. A few exceptions have been made to the proposal, including some spiders, scorpions, centipedes, birds, aquarium fish, and hedgehogs.
Oh,
They're
wow.
kind of cute little things, aren't they? All right, we'll be back with our CBB file right after we hear from Adele Quo, and it's easy
being
being
green. Whoa, changing
That
up
was a
on
bad
us
one. Maybe we should
there.
do a take two on that one.
I know. Stay with the program. All right. Well,
Here's Adele.
thanks, guys. And it is time for my favorite landscape lottery program. And Easy Being Green mascot Joe Tree Frog and our friend Stormy the Raindrop wants to make sure you know about some free money to fund a Stormwater Wise landscape project this year. Arlington Stormwater Wise Landscapes program gives up to $2,500 to Arlington property owners interested in helping to reduce stormwater runoff from their property and help to keep pollutants out of our streams. Stormwater runoff is the largest water quality problem in the U.S. today. When rain falls on all of our impervious surfaces, such as rooftops, driveways, and roads, it all turns into stormwater runoff. And stormwater carries harmful pollutants such as oil, bacteria, dirt, and lawn chemicals to our local streams, which eventually flow into the Potomac River and Chesapeake Bay. With half of Arlington County's impervious surfaces located on private property, your property plays an important role in reducing stormwater runoff. Apply before April 30th, 2017 to be selected by lottery to receive the free money to put toward a small-scale Stormwater-Wise landscape project on your property. Check the website for details, environment/arlingtonva.us/stormwaterwise. If you're selected, conversion of lawn or non-native invasive plants in your yard to conservation landscapes is one of the 4 practices eligible to pocket $2,500 and receive advice from county staff for your project. Many people don't realize that when it rains, our large expanse of exotic lawn is little better than asphalt or concrete in allowing rainwater to soak into the ground. Conservation landscaping uses Northern Virginia native plants that are better adapted to your local soils and microclimates, takes advantage of the natural settings of your site, and recreates the layers of plant communities found in our local natural landscapes. As natural wilderness shrinks and urban impervious acreage increases, what we plant in our residential gardens is increasingly important. Discover pleasure in recreating garden vignettes that occur in nature, like a sunny wildflower meadow or a shady winding woodland path. Besides staying true to what nature intended for a place, designing your garden with conservation landscaping helps to preserve our rich natural heritage and create a sense of place. Native plants not only make us feel at home, they remind us of the special geographic region that we like to call home. So remember, it's easy being green when you're stormwater wise with conservation landscaping and pocketing $2,500 to fund your landscape project.
Not bad. Stormwater wise. I like Joe Tree Frog and his water runoff.
Water buddy, raindrop friend there.
His water buddy there.
I like the free money.
Very nice. Not bad. $2,500. That's worth working
Up to.
on your water runoff for. Thanks, Adele.
You're welcome.
We appreciate it.
Apply.
And CBB is coming up, but the first time we've had this in a long time, a look at the weekly weather. Here to do that for us is Karen Aguilar.
I'm AWN's meteorologist Karen Aguilar, hoping not to disappoint you too much with today's forecast. After having a few great days of spring weather, today is a bit cooler than the higher temperatures we saw on Tuesday. We'll still be seeing some sunshine with a high of near 50s, but a little breezy, a wind gust of about 20 to 22 miles per hour. Tonight it will be dropping to the low 20s, so keep that in mind this morning when you're heading into work. Tomorrow it should be in the low 50s and you can start to feel some of that winter chill come back. However, fear not. Friday, Mother Nature will give us the signal that spring is finally upon us. Take a look at the higher temperatures of 60 degrees with only a few clouds to cover the gorgeous sunshine. A great way to kick off the weekend and head out to the Arlington Potomac Park or to sit outside clearing and reading a nice book. Saturday will be even warmer in the low 70s, and Sunday brings us back to those cooler temperatures in the high 50s. Except for some rain, it's kind of good on Sunday to sit and watch a movie, do some laundry perhaps, and those of you who want to go out, do not forget that umbrella. Monday and Tuesday of next week will be a high of 50s with a small possibility of a light rain. So we have an up and down kind of week with all kinds of surprise weather, and the best one yet, again, is on Friday, springtime weather. Tune in again next week, Thursday, for updates.
Aaron Aguilar and our
Aaron.
weekly look at the weekly weather. Stay tuned.
There's
you
no
never know.
snow in the forecast.
Thank you, Karen. We
Thank you,
appreciate
Karen.
that. Here, as promised, now we go with our CBB Community Bulletin Board file. Well, law enforcement is helping out with higher education funding, and the Sheriff's Office is contributing, but that's not all. The police and fire departments are helping to collect books for Arlington Public School elementary students. From now through April 30th, two groups will host a book drive called For the Love of Reading. You can support their efforts by visiting the Courthouse Police main office or at any Arlington fire station to donate new, with the emphasis on new books. You can either provide reading material for their pre-selected list at police.arlingtonva.us, or you can donate an age-appropriate book of your choice. That's good news for readers. Daniel.
Great choice. Well, Craig, have you considered becoming a guardian? A volunteer court-appointed guardian is, according to the county website, an individual authorized to make personal and healthcare-related decisions. The people who need a guardian usually have some impairment that prevents them from having the mental or physical ability to make their own decisions in some way. This includes physically disabled, mentally impaired, and elderly people. If you're interested, training and support are available. Just give them a call at 703-228-1700 for more information. Craig.
Also in CBB, well, if you're a hardcore take-two bocce ball, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I tried both of them, enthusiast, then you may want to consider teaching the sport. If you can, commit to teaching at least once per week. Volunteers are needed to teach senior adults that are eager to learn the game. Volunteers are needed about an hour per week at Walter Reed Community Center for a period of about 3 months, beginning April 1st through June 30th. For more information, give them a call. The number should be on your screen there, 703-228-0935. Daniel.
Well, the county's Parks and Recreation Department is looking for someone to teach seniors how to play the piano. These one-on-one lessons require a commitment of 1 hour per week. You must be at least 18 years old to volunteer. Give them a call at 703-228-4730 to learn more information. Craig.
All right, Daniel, and news for seniors coming up right after we hear from Denise and her reviews. Here's Denise.
Mrs. Miller Does Her Thing at Signature Theater celebrates the surprising rise to fame of a pop sensation in the mid-1960s. Mrs. Miller was a 59-year-old housewife with an older husband confined to a rehab facility after his stroke. Her passion was singing. Her church choir leader mentioned that her voice didn't blend well. She seemed to take that as encouragement to self-finance solo recordings to give to local orphanages. One of them wound up in the hands of a music producer who gave it local radio airplay, and her career was born. However, it was a cruel joke, as Mrs. Miller sang terribly off-key. The American public ate this up. She recorded 4 albums, appeared on The Ed Sullivan Show, and went on a USO tour to Vietnam with Bob Hope. Comparisons have been made to another tone-deaf singer, Florence Foster Jenkins, from decades earlier. Before you think nothing like that could happen in our era, let me remind you of William Hung from American Idol audition fame. Playwright James Lapine has not simply treated Mrs. Miller as a one-dimensional joke. He portrays her as a woman of depth. She has a loving family, a real sense of community spirit, and national pride. Actress Deborah Monk not only manages to sing off-key and off-tempo, she also has a lovely singing voice that suggests how Mrs. Miller might have heard herself when she sang. She infuses her character with true dignity and the principles to stand up to the political and social chaos of the turbulent 60s. Monk has a great supporting actors around her. Her husband, her niece, her backup singers, and others are well defined by an accomplished cast. The musical numbers, think Downtown and Monday, Monday, stand up to even Mrs. Miller's treatments. thanks to the 4 solid musicians who perform them. Kudos to the costume designer, who replaces the frumpy housewife outfits with kaftans and camo gear and go-go boots as needed, and takes us on a trip down a psychedelic memory lane. Mrs. Miller does her thing at Signature through March 26th. She is a treasure to those of us who sing just like she did. I'm Denise Pringle, filling in for Rich Massabny. Now back to the news desk.
All right, thanks Denise and her review of Mrs. Miller at Signature Theater. News for Seniors coming up, and before we begin our News for Seniors segment tonight, just a shout out to the memory and good times that we all had to as a result of Mr. Chuck Barris. Here's one for you, Chuck.
Good one.
Okay, on with seniors now. Well, Sheila Turpin Foster will lead, yes she will, a workshop aimed at helping participants learn how to make short personal inventories, discover things that might be hidden, and to talk about them. Interactive exercises will help you decide what your creative spice might be. That's coming up Friday, March 24 at 10:30 to 11:30 in the morning at Walter Reed. To call, to get more information, give them a call. Number should be on your screen there, 703-228-0955. Daniel.
Well, Craig, Bridge is a card game that helps enhance focus and thought. Steve Robinson, an experienced bridge instructor, will be giving lessons. That's on Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. It starts this Tuesday, March the 28th at Walter Reed Senior Center. Give them a call at 703-228-0955 to reserve your seat at the table.
And also, Danny, if you're a gamer, in particular, Sudoku, if you enjoy doing Sudoku puzzles but have reached the plateau, well, you can learn more about it with this Sudoku bunch. The puzzle is on a board in the front of the room, and then the group solves it together as a group. It's a great way to learn new approaches and techniques about the game. The Sudoku Bunch meets every Thursday from 1 to 3 in the afternoon at Lee Senior Center. To learn more, give them a call at the number on your screen there, 703-228-0555. Daniel.
Well, Craig, personal safety is important no matter whether you are at home or traveling. Corporal Beth Lemon from the Arlington County Police Department will review personal safety tips to keep you safe in your home or out in the community. That's Wednesday, March the 29th from 11 a.m. to noon at Langston Brown Senior Center. Call them at 703-228-6300 to save your seat. Craig.
All right, gracias, Senor Pineda. And we're almost done. Hang in there. We'll be back with some special tributes and bye-bye if we have time right after we hear from another installment of Miriam Gennari and her Sustainable Scoop. Here's Miriam.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. Okay, in like a lion, out like a lamb. It is the middle of March right now, and I'm not really sure what the weather's going to be like. One thing I am worried about are the plants and the trees, and I'm trying to figure out whether I should cover up my roses or just let them do their thing. Joining me today is a sustainable and green lawn landscaper, Zack Kline, to help me with these ideas.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam, for having me today.
Well, thanks so much for coming. This is very strange weather. Climate change is affecting us, and is this a good time for the plants? Is this a bad time? Should we be worried?
Some of them are already starting to bloom. We have the cherry blossoms, which the dates to actually view them have been fluctuating. They moved them up, they moved them back. We have snow out, some of them are getting frozen. Really, some of the plants, I mean, they're hardy and they've been able to survive stuff before, so it's just a matter of letting this winter pass and everything will run its course.
But I was so eager to start like planting in the garden. Is it still too soon for that?
Yeah, you want to wait till soil temperatures are about 70 degrees. So we really need the temperatures to start going up, and it's a little tough to see where you're going to plant with all the snow on the ground.
I know, well, today's an exception, that's for sure. But when it's like 80 degrees, is there any negative effect to it becoming warmer earlier and earlier? This cold snap, the exception.
Well, it's good for business, I guess you could say, for us, since we have a longer growing season. But for the environment, a lot of these plants are on a schedule, just how we can be on schedules. And if you throw that off too much, you can cause a lot of stress, which can create diseases. It can create a lot of issues. which again aren't good for your landscape.
Well, one thing I like so much about what you do is that you do everything in a sustainable manner. And you talked a little bit about how you maintain lawns sustainably. Can you talk a little bit about that before people start over-fertilizing?
Sure. So your lawns actually naturally produce fertilizer, the grass itself, and if you actually leave those grass clippings, that provides enough fertilizer for a whole season. Most people in the past used to bag those clippings, haul them off to a landfill. A lot of waste that was created when you could have a free product. We do it by using natural organic products. We also cut and maintain lawns with battery-powered equipment. So it's clean, it's quiet, there's no toxic pesticides, and people just really enjoy that.
Nobody minds you coming to their neighborhood in the evenings or on weekends to work.
Not at all, and the best thing that we always get as a compliment is that they never knew our crews were there until they've left.
So tell me, how did you get involved in landscaping? I mean, what made you want to do this?
I've always had a passion for the outdoors. One of my best friends was very environmentally savvy, I'd say, and was very adventurous, and he took me on a lot of experiences that really cultivated my mind in terms of sustainability. I always knew I wanted to own my own business, and I've always enjoyed working outside, so all three combined together led me down this path.
And now I just think it's fascinating that you charge all of your equipment solar powered. That's very unique.
Yeah.
This is heavy duty equipment.
Yeah, this is commercial grade equipment we're talking about. You have these mowers that guys are sitting on, standing on, walking behind. You have hedge clippers, you have chainsaws, battery powered trimmers, string trimmers. Every single piece of equipment you can think of is battery powered, and then we charge it off solar panels. And then anything that we charge off the grid, we offset with carbon credits.
The other thing, I guess, in addition to that just being wonderful for the environment and for the people that you're working with, the employees are healthier because isn't there I wore one of those backpacks once just because it looks so like, what's that, home improvement kind of thing, you know? I felt so tough, but yet at the same time, there was all this gas that I just kept getting blown in my face. That can't be healthy for people every day.
Not at all, no. And actually 5% of the U.S. air pollution comes from small lawn care equipment, and that's because they don't have the same type of regulators on them as cars do. So all those emissions, as you can imagine, with all these lawnmowers across the U.S., just add up, and especially that point pollution right there, right what you were describing, in front of you, you have to deal with that, and it's not good for you, it's not good for the environment, it's just not good for the earth.
So when you come out and see people, what are some of the questions that they're asking, and what are some of the unique things that you provide? They
want to know what they can do. Some people have lawns and they want to maintain that lawn that they have because they either have kids or pets, or they just like having that open space. So we help homeowners maintain it in a natural, organic manner. Others maybe don't have kids and are looking at designs that are more sustainable to help stormwater runoff, maybe attract more bees, butterflies, and birds or pollinators.
I like that.
So it depends really on the house, and that's the beauty of this business, is that, there's different homeowners that have different, landscapes, and we can kind of come in and look at what would fit best for that.
And can you help them pick out the right plants, things that those of us without a green thumb might not kill?
Yeah, and like I said, it depends because every area is different. So drier climates and different soils are going to affect the plant selection, but we can definitely set it up according to whatever the site provides.
Is there anything we can do right now to kind of help nurture the ground and our shrubs and our trees?
Well, so not right now with the snow on the ground. Prior, if you'd put mulch down, that would actually help protect a lot of them by providing nice moisture underneath, as well as protecting the plant from any winter damage. But at the moment, since the ground is covered in snow, there's not much you can do. You can maybe do some tree pruning, but a lot of trees are coming out of their dormancy now, and if you do that, you're going to affect their growth.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming today and talking to us about this. A lot of us are confused. How can they get in touch with you and learn more, not just about what they should be doing in their lawn, but maybe this wonderful sustainable business practice that you've come up with?
Yeah, the best way to get in touch with us is to go to our website. It's www.contactair.today. You can also give us a call at 240-772-1639, or shoot us an email at info@contactair.today.
I will certainly do that. And I just want to say to everybody that Zack and I met one another at the tech shop, where we're always working on projects together. So if you want to see Zack, you can see him there as well.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Miriam. Appreciate you having me.
And I want to thank all of you for watching The Sustainable Scoop. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.
Sustainable Scoop with all this news and information and sort of lighthearted demeanor that we try to portray here on the Arlington Weekly News. We have some very solemn news to pass on to you, and that is the passing of our good friend and collaborator, Rich Massabny. Rich passed away just this past Saturday, and we will all miss him, and we were hoping that he would come back, but he wanted to, and his spirit was strong, but he just didn't quite make it. So Rich, we'll always remember you, and you'll always have a place in our hearts, and you were a big part of us, our show, and all of us here at the Arlington Weekly News. So Rich, Godspeed, and a special tribute to Rich and all of the information and joy and friendship that he brought to us will be coming up at a later date. So Rich, this one's for you.
In those days, back in the 40s and 50s, in those days, you generally, oh yeah, a lot of people flew from New York to Los Angeles, but a lot of people took the train. And I was in a train going from New York, 20th Century Limited, from Grand Central Station in New York to Los Angeles. And how it worked out, you know, there must have been 12 cars. And right next to our car was the car with the great Rita Hayworth. I mean, who was bigger than that? Nobody. So, but here I was. I had the courage. I knocked on the door. And somebody opened it, you know, peeked and looked. And no, it wasn't Rita Hayworth, but peeked and turned out to be her secretary and said, yes. I said, my name's Rich Massabny. I'd love to see Rita Hayworth. So from inside, a woman said, tell him to come in. Now, if you remember how those rooms were on the train, you older folks, there was a fold-out bed, came down, and it maybe was this wide. And I could see right away, Rita Hayworth was in a frilly thing, sitting in the bed, and there was this much room left over. And she went to me, she patted down a part of his bed for me to sit on here, which I did. I went there, sat down with her, and spent maybe 10, 12 minutes of just wonderful time. I still can't forget it. Now you're going to ask, when was it? Well, how about 1947?
Yeah.